Good evening. See how many people we get on at half time. I actually enjoyed that first half. It was good to see Celtic. The change of formation. The change of formation it looks like that we're going to go into the season with is a 4-2-3-1 formation. It looks like Benji is playing along beside Callum McGregor in the holding midfield role, and he looks really comfortable at it. He looks really comfortable in that position, and I've got to say, fair play to him. Fair play to him. I know he was more an attacking midfielder, but if that's the position that Brendan Rodgers wants them to play in, and there's a little sneaky bit there was as well. There's a couple of times. Got to say, Adam Ida should have had 2 goals. We need a finisher. Adam Ida's still shite. Yeah, I've just said that he should have had 2 goals. Adam Ida's is it because it's pre-season? I'm going to say no. Having listened to what Brendan Rodgers said at the end of the Manchester City the same week last year, almost 2 days apart, the way that we played in the Manchester City game last year, Brendan Rodgers was all smiles. He was really positive about the team. Now there's a lot of positivity to come at the team today. Let me say that first of all. I think that we're playing some fantastic football for a pre-season game. It shows us the way that Brendan Rodgers. I did say that there would be a change of formation with it's a 4-4-2 press at times. Yeah, it is that, because you're getting Rio Hatate going into that forward role, but then what you're getting as well is when it comes into defence, you're then getting a good lot of players back in the midfield. It's actually brilliant. I mean, a lot of people were saying Brendan Rodgers will never change. He'll never change his system. Well, he has, and for me, it's absolutely brilliant that we're going into a new season, because I think we needed it. We needed the change of formation as a club, because we were getting far too easy to play against. Mixing it up a bit with the 4-2-3-1 formation, I think will be excellent, not just for Scottish football. It'll allow us to get an extra man in the box in Scottish football when teams sit back, with the flat back 5 and stuff, and hopefully a lot of teams will not do that as much this year. But from a Celtic perspective, it means that you've still got the 3 in the midfield going forward that are just behind the striker, so it allows the striker still to know that he's got the 2 wingers that will be coming down the side. And I've got to say, what about that cross from Kieran Tierney? That's why we brought Kieran Tierney back. That's what Kieran Tierney's all about. That cross was sublime. That was brilliant. That was. He's not lost it a single bit, is he? He's still a top class player, and we've got him back at Celtic for nothing. There was a lot of good to take out of the game. Not too much negativity from me, to be honest. The only big bit of negativity is Celtic TV. Celtic TV is absolute garbage, isn't it? Celtic TV sometimes is just rank rotten. Murray's been solid. Benji looks good. Jamesy boy gives his all as usual. Just what I'd expect for the front of the goal. Yeah, Kevin, exactly. Forrest looks like he had a hernia. Nah, not at all. Yeah, just for Ada to mess it up. I know. I mean, it was. If Kyogo's on that, if Dyson Maida's on that, I'm even going to say if Johnny Kenny's on it, he might have stuck it in the back of the net. But a top class striker, and this is what Brendan Rodgers will want. He wants a striker that will play through the middle in the box. Right? We know this. We're not wanting a striker that did what Kyogo does and did what other strikers have done, go away out to the wing and come in. You're wanting your striker to be a 6-yard box player in between the posts, because we are going to get crosses and attempts coming in from all angles with the way that the team's set up. Having the 2 sitting holding midfield players, and I noticed that Benji and Callum McGregor keep swapping sides at time. That's brilliant, because Callum McGregor was getting man marked last season, and this is why it's good as well, because Celtic last season, everything would come through the middle with Callum McGregor. Everything would come through Callum, so teams started man marking Callum. Putting someone in there beside Callum is basically doing what last season you could do. You had Greg Taylor coming into that position, but having somewhere in that position for 90 minutes of the game, that doesn't have to focus on the left back area, doesn't have to focus on going back into defence, can just focus on that central midfield with Callum, seeing where he is. And the good thing about Benji as well that I was noticing, he was kept on checking where Callum was, but he was also checking the left back area to see where Kieran was, for that quick movement of ball. Very intelligent player, very intelligent. I'm starting to see that he is going to be an absolute find. Fans are going to love him. Adam Eder has no clue. I don't think he has no clue. I just think that it's just a pre-season game, and I think that once he's up to speed, this is the game that we've all been waiting for, really. For the majority of the first team to start playing together. This is when they kick on as a first team. This is when Brendan Rodgers ups the intensity, and it was a good first half. It was better. It was a lot better. It was a lot better than I was expecting. And I know that they're a Champions League team. Sports Quiz Channel showing the game. Perfect. Sportica. Right, I'm going to jump onto that one. But anyway, I thought it was. I suppose it saves having to listen to Celtic TV, doesn't it? We need a bit of help on our right side. I think we're doing okay. I mean, with the team that we had, with the team that we've got on that half, I think it's doing fantastically well. And the fact that it's 0-0 is all good. It's all going in the right direction. It's too early to say Benji is the next Hunskelper. Is it No, it's not actually. I think it's... And do you know what's a bit of genius about what Brendan Rodgers has done, putting Benji in that holding midfield role? He's the type of player that likes to get forward and he likes to attack. So what it does is when Rio Hatate goes into a space and the striker goes into another space, it opens up a gap in the middle. And no one will be expecting the holding midfield defender to be running into that space. So tactically, Brendan Rodgers has changed it completely. He's upped it a bit even more this season. And I'm looking forward to the season now. I'm really looking forward to it. Get some more players in. And I tell you one thing, Dane Murray doesn't look at place either. Sporting will change second half. Hopefully we don't. I think we may do, but we'll wait and see. Murray knows how to play and pass forward. He's doing well. I told you he would be. People were saying that Murray is not ready. I think he is. And Brendan Rodgers thinks he is. Brendan Rodgers was desperate to play the player towards the end of last season, and he was just lucky that he was unlucky that he had an injury. Rio's still on his holidays. Yeah. Yamada will score a bucket load of goals the way we're playing. I think so. I think that you put him in the middle of the box, it definitely gives our strikers something to think about. And what it also does as well is that formation is you can take a midfield player off and you can put another striker on, and the striker will play just behind the other striker. So at games we will go to a 4-4-2. You can see the way that Brendan's thinking already. You can see the way that he's thinking about Champions League games. He's thinking about defensive at home. He's thinking about how to mix it up so that teams can't read us too much. I'll tell you one thing, there'll not be much side-to-side passing stuff with that formation, because you're not sitting with the one guy in the middle. The fact that you've got two guys sitting in the middle, it allows the three midfielders in front of him to then gets their movement going a bit more. I'm liking it. I suppose that's why we got rid of Rocky, because we knew it was Murray more than good enough. Yeah, exactly. It's just a pity that we didn't get money for Rocky right in. We need to create some Yamada footage. We need to create a Yamada. I think that will come along. Yamada Dabadoo. Oh, did I just say that? Yamada Dabadoo. I'm sure the Green Brigade will come up with that within the next couple of weeks once he has signed. He's got to mix it up, because last season's football was generally boring. It always is the second season, isn't it? It always is, because teams catch on to the way that you play, and then they make adjustments. They're then going to have to make adjustments again, because we've changed our formation. Even Robocop Ralston's playing okay. Yeah, Ralston gets too much stick at times, Do you know, you don't play consistently for Scotland if you're a bad player, let's be honest. I mean, I know that he's not got a lot of players that are sort of giving him competition for that place in the Scotland jersey, but he does it for Scotland. He does it for Scotland every summer. And do you know, I mean, I know that he's got his limitations when it comes to the Champions League, but he's still a decent player, and he's the type of player that you want in the squad. Somebody that will come on and just run through brick walls for you. And it's a great player. He's a great type of player to have in your squad. So yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic pass marks for me. Fish in Scotland, I was thinking DJ, say hey baby. Oh God. Negrin's going to be money well spent. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's going to be fine for 1.7 million. People were saying, you know, it's not a lot of money, but remember he was in the last 6 months of his contract. So for me, it's a fantastic piece of business. And if he can help Callum in that midfield role and free him up in games, especially in Scotland, especially at home when some teams, you know, Hearts were doing it, Aberdeen done it, Rangers done it. You try and nullify Callum McGregor because you know that everything through the middle is coming through Callum. If you've got someone that's equally as good as Callum McGregor that's in that middle bit that completely mixes it up, and you've still got your four, and you've still got Tierney moving forward, if you've still got Alistair Johnson to come back as well, do you know? So it's maybe not been as bad as what we thought it's been. You know, Brendan Rodgers has obviously enjoyed the time that they've had over in Portugal with the guys, and it looks like that it's looking not too bad. 4 or 5 other players in, and we should be okay. For me, the big worry is Kasper hasn't scored. With his own hand. You've got to admit that we had a couple of golden opportunities that Adam Eder should have put away. But they've had opportunities. They've managed to get round the back of us. They've had a couple of crosses over that went right in front of the keeper. Good teams will put them away. That's for sure. So it is looking good so far. Robocop. Here's that. Forrest has still got legs. Yep, I'm just wondering if James Forrest is going to get another year added onto his contract. Because the way that Forrest is playing at his age, at 34-year-old, he can play for another 2 or 3 years. You're not going to use James Forrest every single week, but as an impact player, someone that's got it to still come on. Do you know what I mean? He's if Kenny's on the bench, get him on and get either off. The players that are on the bench. Johnny Kenny is on the bench. Has Celtic TV come back on yet? Because mine was without volume and everything. It was Celtic TV is just unbelievable. It is unbelievable. But anyway, has anyone seen Shin play? No, it's just stuff that we've seen on the internet. Kasper, right, second half's underway. I'm going to Celtic to win 2-1, says Vincent O'Brien. Yes, yeah, we'll come on after it. There'll probably not be a lot of people on after it, but yeah, we'll come on for about 15-20 minutes or so. So I'll see you after the game.